The courtroom air was thick, heavy with the weight of 100 eyes boring into Aisha Carter's back. She stood alone, her heels clicking sharply against the polished floor, each step a rebellion against the whispers that followed her like shadows. A black woman in a small-town courthouse, she was no stranger to the stares, but today they cut deeper, laced with the venom of prejudice. The officer, Deputy Mark Hensley, lounged against the witness stand, his lips curled into a sneer that screamed he'd already judged her guilty. "Miss Carter," Hensley drawled, his voice dripping with condescension. "You really think you can just waltz in here and play innocent? We know your kind." The words landed like a slap, and the gallery gasped, a low hum of shock rippling through the room. Aisha's jaw tightened, but she didn't flinch. She'd faced men like him before, men who saw her skin before her soul, who thought her presence in their world was a mistake to be corrected. The charge was minor, a traffic stop gone wrong, twisted into a resisting arrest claim. Hensley had pulled her over for a broken taillight. That wasn't broken, his flashlight probing her car like an accusation. When she'd questioned him, calm but firm, he'd snapped, cuffing her with a force that left bruises on her wrists. Now, in court, he painted her as a threat, his lies piling up like bricks in a wall meant to crush her. The judge, an older man with a face carved from stone, leaned forward. "Miss Carter, do you have anything to say before sentencing?" His tone was neutral, but Aisha sensed the weight of his expectation, the assumption she'd plead or crumble. She straightened, her dark eyes locking onto Hensley's. The room seemed to shrink, the air electric with anticipation. "I do," she said, her voice steady, cutting through the tension like a blade. She reached into her blazer, her movements deliberate, and pulled out a badge that gleamed under the courtroom's fluorescent lights. The seal of Homeland Security caught the light, and Hensley's smirk vanished, his face paling as if he'd seen a ghost. The gallery fell silent, the hum of whispers snuffed out. Even the judge's gavel, raised for order, froze midair. "I'm Special Agent Aisha Carter," she said, her words ringing with quiet power. "I've served this country for 12 years, risked my life in ways you can't imagine, Deputy. And you dare stand there and mock me?" Her voice rose, not in anger but in righteous clarity, each syllable a hammer striking the lies Hensley had built. The courtroom was a pressure cooker now, every juror, spectator, and clerk hanging on her words. Hensley stammered, his bravado crumbling. "Two didn't know," he muttered, but Aisha wasn't done. She stepped closer, her badge still raised, a symbol of her truth. "You didn't know because you didn't care to know. You saw my skin and decided my story. But I'm not your stereotype. I'm not your scapegoat." The judge cleared his throat, his composure shaken. "Agent Carter, can you verify this?" Aisha handed over her credentials, her gaze never leaving Hensley. The judge examined them, his brow furrowing as he realized the weight of the moment. This wasn't just a traffic case anymore. It was a reckoning. Aisha turned to the jury, her voice softening but no less commanding. "I've spent my career protecting people, all people, from threats far bigger than a small-town deputy's ego. But prejudice like this, it's a threat too. It festers, it divides, it destroys. I stand here not just for me, but for every person who's been judged before they're heard." The room was a sea of stunned faces. A young woman in the gallery wiped away a tear. An older man nodded, his expression shifting from doubt to respect. Hensley shrank in his seat, his uniform no longer a shield. The judge dismissed the charges, his voice clipped, but Aisha's victory wasn't in the Roland, it was in the silence she'd forced from a man who thought he could break her. As she left the courthouse, the sunlight hit her face, warm and unyielding. The whispers followed her still, but now they carried a different tone: admiration, curiosity, maybe even hope. Aisha didn't look back. She'd faced the beast of bias and walked away unbroken, her badge a reminder that her worth wasn't defined by those who couldn't see it. The small town would talk about this day for years, the day a black woman turned a courtroom's scorn into a mirror, forcing it to see its own flaws. Aisha Carter wasn't just a survivor of prejudice. She was a warrior against it, her courage a beacon for those still fighting to be seen. And somewhere, on a worn wooden bench in that courtroom, a scrawled note remained. Justice fights back in court, a testament to the truth that no badge, no uniform, could ever outshine the power of a human heart standing tall. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.